Welcome everyone, this is Django here, and I will be your guide today for the next part of Pillars of Eternity, or I should say the next chapter. So we'll just continue from where we left off. From anyone who was watching the series previously, please excuse me for putting up this episode not one day after the last one, but 2 or 3. But what matters is that I'm back, so let's do this. And once again, welcome, and I'll hope you'll enjoy the video or the stream. Let's hop back in. Note that this gameplay is already the patched version. I think it's 1.02 or something like that. But I've looked through the notes, but there weren't really things that would affect this gameplay, as we have not yet progressed really very far in the game just yet. So as you can see, we are in the inn of the first little town, and we have already a dear elf friend here. There are 2 people here again with whom we can interact in a way that we can see their soul, see their past. So let's look at that. Reach out for the soul. I will let you read through these. In the previous episodes I was reading these out loud, but there will be a lot of these, so I will not do that, because that will really take a lot of time. If you're interested, you can read through that or pause the video. I will be always, just reading through it very quickly. Perhaps if I'll find something very interesting, then I'll say something about that, but that's just it. And the next one. Excuse me for the Skype noises. Okay. So.
Right.
Nice and quiet.
I'm sorry, I'm always tapping Alt to see the interactable objects. Let's see what we have here. Some drunk people, I guess. Roaches scatter and flee under the crates, alright. The inn is in a very, very bad shape, indeed. An inn guest. Full of sickness. Again, this will be not a playthrough in which we are going to rob things, so bear that in mind. The book. Pray shall bring. This is a story about Eothas. Let me just read this out loud. 10 years I tilled the faller's leaf. In 10 years I told myself that living in St. Waidwin's footsteps would bring me rebirth. Each dawn I'd pray that if thou art in darkness, he shall bring thee light, and each yet night would bring the same emptiness. For my decade of living as a simple dye farmer, all I have to show for it is a great deal of purple clothing. Eothas has not spoken to us since he appeared at St. Waidwin. It was my hope that Eothas would claim me as his next vessel, but alas, the child of light remains silent. Every day I practice the ritual of banishing the shadows of the unfaithful. and every day I work my fields in solitude, without sign of Eothas returning. If thou art in darkness, he shall bring thee light. But how long must I remain lost in this long night of abandonment? Is this my punishment for keeping my faith a secret? Is Eothas hiding from me until I shout my reverence for all to hear? Surely he must know that the Daewodans now hate him and his followers. My countrymen are quick to blame all that was terrible about the Saints' War on those of us still faithful to Eothas. Should they not be angry at the Redcross soldiers? Do the Daewodans not realize that to dismiss the god of rebirth and redemption is to prevent all hope of healing? As I pen these words, I know that I must continue to till the die leaf. Okay. I will awake each day with hope. If thou art in darkness, he shall bring me light. Each day I will pray that the dawn stars visit me, just as they visited St. Waidwen in his field of Folas. Will they come to me as they came to St. Waidwen? As a man and two women, luminescent, perfect. I am told they come to presage a new time. I'm told many things, and I struggle to find the faith to believe it all. And yet, each morning the sun rises in the eastern sky, and each morning Eothas illuminates my simple plot of land, casting away the shadows of the unfaithful in his golden gaze. I thank thee, Eothas, for all the springs I've had, and all that will come. I am in darkness, please bring me light. I'm sorry for those little slips. This is actually quite interesting. We've already read some stuff about the Saints' War. So, yeah, this actually makes sense that there would be a few people who still believe in him, you know. At least from my perspective, it's a very logical thing. Okay, again, people with with big chunks of backstories. You know, an interesting thing I'd like to note is
Nice and
that,
quiet.
again, the Alt button, that wasn't what I meant, is that actually I played Oblivion like this. I played it reading every book, every damn book, but really reading it, you know, and there were actually quite a few really good books. But after a time, I just realized that I just don't remember, you know, not even half of it. That is the other problem. Not just that it takes up too much time in a in a video like this, but it's I can appreciate it, and I really do. And I know that there are some people who can be lost in things like these, but again, a lot of people can play games like these, and they mustn't play it in the same way other people do. So yes, did I read every bit? I don't know. Did I read this one too? Yes, I did actually. Okay. So I think it's okay. It's okay. If somebody wants to read it, they can. But
Nice and quiet.
wow. Crammed behind the books is a drawing that shows Eothas and Lord Raedric in a compromising position. early colonial history. You see, things like I really appreciate it. I know there is a lot of writing behind this, but come on. Come on. But it's not for me. I like to read, but not in a game, you know? Not this much, at least. And lockpicks. Actually, lockpicks, you don't need them yet.
Nice and slow.
Can he use it? Does he have mechanical knowledge? 1. Not really a thing for us. These bones are covered in tiny bite marks, and there is a black hound here. This hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach the vines alone and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Let's try and pet the dog. The dog's tail thumps happily against the floorboards. Ow. Don't you want to come with me? Sorry, girl, don't think it's coming back. The dog whines softly again, head tilting. Well, you can come with me. Maybe we'll find him on the way. The dog's ears perk up. It trots over to you and barks happily. This party has gained an item. Black Hound. Alright. Okay, I guess this is a quest item then.
Steady does it.
Steady does it. It is strange to see the sky in this game. It's very strange indeed. Okay, and here we are again. Outside. Let me just run through some stuff. Not this, but this, for example. Do I have my notes? Yep. I do. Journal. Visions. The Black Hound Inn in Gilded Vale has lost its beloved cook. Find Tenfrith. Okay, so we've got a quest for finding a cook. This is obviously a side quest. We've got a quest to travel to Anslock Compass and speak to Madoranga. This is actually a quest we received because... Oh yes, Ofra gave this to us. Okay. The big quest, the main quest, is to seek help for our condition. We've already explored this part of the town. And this too. Let's save the game quickly here. And a quick save, and we're good to go.
I shall be discreet.
Cannot enter this little house. Okay. Glorious graphics again, and the music, just like an adventure game, and for me that is a very good thing. I'm not a very super big adventure game player, by the way, but I very much like the feelings such a game can give. Beneath the vines are crude carvings of a sun rising over 3 stars. Let's talk to this child. Perhaps he knows, or she, this is about. Papa says the temple is cursed. Is this your pa? The other thing is that these visions are really cryptic. You know what I mean? They mainly express feelings and, just a lot of times just, impressions and feelings. Okay, enough talking about that. Let's actually look under this place.
Keeping quiet.
Wow. Okay. Rising sun and 3 dawn stars, the symbol of Eothas. Oh, this is the symbol of Eothas. Okay. So this is actually a church that has a hidden church under it. Interesting.
Nice and slow.
Let's talk to Verton. Wretched beasts. A man lies resting against the wall, lit by the dim illumination of fading sconces. He has a gaunt, fox-like aspect, and his face is pale and damp with sweat. One arm is held loosely against his side, sleeve soaked in with blood. He gives you an anxious glance as you near, his features twisted with pain. Have a care. If you mean to go in, he casts a quick look toward the doorway to his left. This place is not so empty as I thought. This temple isn't what it used to be, probably for the best, times being as they are. He groans and shifts position, wincing. I'm no looter, if that's what you're thinking. Not one of the faithful either. Just wanted to do some good, I suppose. Got my arm clawed up for it. He regards you warily. Maybe you'd have better luck. Better luck with what? The man points a finger upwards. These ruins around us used to be a temple of Eothas, the scattered god. A grand temple at that. His worshippers would come from all over the Divot, from the Red Keris even. Until the war, of course. Even then you'd get some of the stubborn ones, the ones that couldn't get it through their heads that their god was dead and gone. Lord Raedric allowed them to worship? Lord Raedric would clear out the place from time to time, make arrests. It wasn't until the legacy that he started, losing patience. He sent his guards in to put the priest to the sword, bring the place down, burn some of the books, and that was that. He looks away. What's this legacy? The cause of the corpses in that tree, for starters. That's putting it mite simply, but yes, indirectly. St. Waidwin's legacy, the man that housed the scattered god a time. Lord Raedric fought in that one. When they brought the god down, we had us a celebration here in town. We thought things would never be better. Started some time after that, the disease, or whatever it is. Children being born without the stuff that makes them truly alive. Just empty shells and their mothers screaming and crying. Lets out a long breath. It's destroyed us, Gilledwale, I mean. Interesting that he doesn't really say the soul. He says the stuff. That's interesting, to me at least. The thinking is it's Waidwin having a last laugh. Strikes me as a little petty, even for a dead god. He smiles thinly. But Lord Raedric believes it. That's all that matters. Go on. Once the legacy started, Lord Raedric decided he'd been too lenient on the Eothasians. He had his people go in and put them to the sword, left them down there, buried under a heap of rock. After that, Raedric ordered the temple sealed. It's been years like that, up until recently. Lord Raedric hopes that if we re-dedicate the temple to a living god, then we'll be forgiven, and the legacy will end. See? He smiles wryly. Actually, that's interesting. It's a very superstitious way of thinking. Raedric must be... I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but a limited person, to put it mildly. But until then, the temple is as you see it, unguarded. That's where you come in. Wharton licks his lips. Those priests, maybe they didn't have a lick of sense between them, but they still didn't deserve to go like that. Chopped down in their god's house. It doesn't sit right with me. I agree. If you can get down there, find their remains, maybe we can finally give them a proper burial. Wharton breathes out. No smart task. There's coin in it for you if you need motivating. Actually, I do, thank you. Again, he said going down there, so we have to go even lower? That sounds scary, actually. Olaf's cautious expression softens. A pleasant surprise to see that someone around here has a shred of respect for the dead. Let's see. Wait, you want me to bring you some skeletons? I take it you aren't supposed to be in here. Wharton laughs bleakly. Well, I meant to be in and out nice and quick. I'm not hurting anyone, it's just Lord Raedric's forbidden anyone having anything to do with the scattered god. It'd be a little harder to explain to him than you. It's a good cause, though, isn't it? You could make some coin in the process. Actually, after this, I don't trust you, but... I have some questions first. Yes? Why can't you do this yourself? Who are you anyway? That's a good question. Wharton offers you a weak grin. Name's Wharton. I lived in Gilded Vale long enough to remember how grand it used to be. He shrugs and looks away. I used to help the temple sometimes, bring supplies, that's all. Won't Lord Raedric mind us digging around down there? I wouldn't go telling him about it. Lingering in these places, it's not good for anyone. But you do this quick and quiet, and we can do right by those priests without raising a fuss. Any chance there's something down there worth a little more than some old bones? Wharton looks around. Probably. Nobody's been through the place since it was sealed up. Well, apart from me, and I didn't touch anything. Any valuables in there, you get first crack at them. I only ask that you do this favor for me while you're at it. I really like this, though, because, the game doesn't... It knows you're gonna loot everything, but it gives you the chance to, do the right thing. If you gotta get a task like this, and at least normal people, I don't think are going to raid a temple, but you ask this, and he gives you a normal answer, and it's okay. It's okay. You can take stuff with you, like asking a GM, or I don't know, because dungeon crawling is in fact about the treasure, isn't it? I have no more questions. Then, what do you say? I'll find them. Then by the flame I owe you a good turn. But listen, the temple's been sealed off for so long it's crawling with creatures. But if you get past them, the priests would have been down on the lower floor. They'll be still there, if they're anywhere. Those priests had all kinds of secret chambers, switches in the walls, tricks, counters, that kind of thing. Keep an eye out and take care down there. I wouldn't want to have to send someone else after your remains. I'll wait here by the stairs and keep a lookout. Maybe try to patch myself up some. Alright. Of course this is very interesting indeed, very interesting. But let's first explore the town fully. Because if we can get some more companions, who are not actually hirelings, but you know, real companions, perhaps it would be a better idea to do this with them. Let's see first what else we can find. Actually, I should also heal my fatigue. Villager, again, an exit. Ronin to Ronin. You see how many those people are in the game, you know, with the backstory? That's inhuman. That's inhuman. Despite the rains, the stalks feel as dry and stiff as a locust's husk. Some villages. Some cows, you know, just the usual stuff. What does a cow say in this game? Well, it doesn't say jack shit. Of course. That's another house we can enter. What is this? Black Hammer Smithery. A smithery, alright. Let's see what we can find. Or whom. That is Ace, actually. That's stealing. Stealing again. Dented and dull, these swords look ready for the forge. Commoner. Not many people in there here these days, just me and Lord Radix people, of course. Apprentice. If you want to buy something, it's Chuato you should speak to. There's actually something I can click without stealing. A book, of course. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. That's like a Jedi code. Interesting. Jedi code for blacksmiths. Cool.
I shall be discreet.
Excuse me. The bellows sigh into the furnace, and the coals burn brighter still. Again, people with backstories. This Umona man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans. His thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face coated in smeared suit and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a bored smile as you approach. Welcome! You're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this... let's ask the stupid question. Is this your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years. Good luck and bad. Totanu, that's his name. Okay, I got it, guys, I got it. Totanu glances at the guard standing watch along the wall. But the Black Hammer Smithery remains. What do you have here? You've come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer, all forged right here at the Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near a week now and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. All my workers ran off with the wagon themselves. Maybe to make some coin. Tuttano sorts. As if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. The dire situations in villages like this and the exodus to the cities has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Thank you, Eloth, for your insight. Tuttanu scratches his jaw, thinking, if you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon. Or my shipment, at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Raedric. Tuttanu glances at the nearby guard. That's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. Where was the wagon traveling from? We send the wagon up to Nunihumor with weapons, and it swings round through Lockholm and the like to purchase supplies. Shortest route back is through the Black Meadow and then north through the wilds. Tuttanu shakes his hands. Had a trader come through with word they'd made it to Lockholm, but haven't heard a thing since. I see them back safe and sound. I'd appreciate your trying anyhow. You bring back the supplies at least, and I'll have much more to offer you. A discount to start, and if you do find my workers, you give them a good smack upside the head for me. Got it. Got it. But still, I'm curious.
Welcome.
Do you have stuff? Of course. Okay. Let's see what he has. Well, our coin doesn't really permit us to buy anything of
Nice
value.
and quiet.
Excuse me again. Okay. Another quest then. And we are nearly over with exploring the town. And it's been a week since the game got out. Well, you know, as I already said, we don't have to rush anywhere. Why would we? What's here? This is the cow place, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's the same thing with the locust husk. Thank you. See what we have here. Beer. All right. Let's go inside. Another book. about the history.
Nice and slow.
The bottle of Sonred is half empty. In Groad, this man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices you approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Hail, traveler.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man, Anton? Anton coughs. Yes, I think we've met in Whalewood. I warned him about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you've made it. Was there something else you wanted? You two are in good spirits for people who just lost a friend. That's unkind of you to say. I'm grieving my husband in my fashion. I'm only sorry I could not convince him to leave the Gaelord Vale before this happened. I'm relieved to be rid of this terrible place, that's all. It cost me the greater part of my life, and now my husband, and I'm glad to be free of it. You two seem to be in a hurry. Yes, I imagine so, Ingrid laughs. We are packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay, and she looks to Nanton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Nanton reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. Is there anything you can tell me about Gaelord Vale? Ingrid smiles wryly. Only that you'll want to be moving on as soon as you can. You'll have seen the tree, I imagine. But the rot goes deeper. If you were looking for work, I'd say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. We are headed for Defiance Bay ourselves. Okay, goodbye. Best of luck. Seems quite fishy, to be honest, but... Okay. Alright. This wasn't stealing, I don't know why, but, you know, it wasn't, so I did it. No shame in it, then. Let's see where we are at. Oh, okay. Let's take that bush. Minus 80 fatigue for 600 sec. Okay, this is a temporary rest, then. Interesting. Is that a ghost? That was a ghost. Alright. That is not creepy at all. Let's see what we got here. Stealing stuff. Red scurry behind the sacks. Backstory good time for those who love this. Jesus Christ. Okay. And some backstory again. Oh, nothing there. I see. This is the end of the village. One more place to see. We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards come through that door gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, Swainer, I put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads, but we'll be back, Trumbull, and we'll have fair prices, or by the flame we'll have a reckoning. Investigate feud.
Steady does it.
And I can just enter. Okay. The Evan man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your white life. Put that down before you get yourself hurt. Trumbull only raises the club higher. I mean it. I won't have Swainer and his lackeys threatening me on my will. I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seemed pretty angry. Really? Trumbull sighs relief. Hylia's tits. Could I use a friendly face? I take it you heard some part of what the crowd's asking for. Grain, as if I've got it all tucked away somehow. Swainer's been egging that lot on for days now. They've been keeping clear so far, but if things keep on like they are, I don't know how much longer we've got before things get messy. Please, if you're not here on his behalf, maybe you could speak to Swainer. He won't listen to me anymore. Just explain that we're all getting smaller rations now. We're all making sacrifices. I'll go see what I can do. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it if you can convince him. Alright, fair enough. Rance's trench rises from the green. It's mushy and mottled with green. What? That's awful. My father's a good man. He's always done right by the town. Sure, father can explain better just what happened here. Good lads, aren't they? Alright, we've now explored the whole town. Some little fungi here again. Some arrow stuff. Let's move faster, thank you. And nothing more. Yes, we really did explore the town. Thing is, where is that Swainer? Swainer is likely to be in the inn. Let's go there. Alright, let's search for Swainer. Where could he be? There he is. Let's confront him.
Greetings.
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Keep walking, we are not here to chat with foreigners. Eloth narrows his eyes. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it too. Let's see. Trumbull says you've been threatening his family. Yes, let's choose that. Oh, I'd bet he has. All nobility, that Trumbull. Two big, strong kids, pure as soul, all of Gilderware, the dwarf sneers. Cowards sending out messengers to handle his business, where you can go and tell him we haven't had a solid meal in days and account of him. We can't afford a good drink on account of him, but we won't be bullied by some foreigners on account of him. Let's say. What if I buy you all around? Will you talk to me then? Swainer considers it briefly. He looks to the others. Fair enough. Young, bring us something to wet our throats, and might be I'll feel up to trading words. I have beer, so
Greetings.
that should suffice, you know. Or do I have to speak with Parka? Or
Nice and quiet.
what's she called? Pasca.
Well met, friend.
Like to buy around for the fine fellows over there. Fine fellows, you're having me on. Any more fighting and I'll have to ban Swainer from the inn entirely, the innkeeper frowns. Until then, it's 6 copper pieces for the lot. Please, if I can just get them talking, I might be able to convince them to stop harassing the miller. The innkeeper studies you warily a moment, then sighs. Well, that's all right then. Here, 3 rings for the 3 fools. You get them off Trumbull's back, and maybe he'll be a little less stingy with his supplies. Gilderware, slight positive. Great! Let's see.
Gods keep you.
You gain. What do you want now? I saw you outside of the mill. What was that about? Well, someone fancies themselves a meddler, eh? What's that about? It's about Trumbull thinking he's king of the town on account of he's got the mill to his name. The dwarf's jaws quiver with rage. It's about him barely giving us anything for the wheat we bring in, and then cutting our purses when we need to buy again. It's about farmers going hungry while some bastards get rich off their crops. That's what it's fucking about. Now shove off. Alright. What are you doing in here then? Maybe I could go talk to him for you. Ha! You think you'll get through to him, and when we haven't, the man's thick as a peat dog. I hear he got his soul rid. Found his skin used to grow sun-red trees of them. What are you talking about, man? I can't read this. What are you talking about? He'll be holed up in that mill for days, that coward. But here, if you want to give it a shot, then good luck. We'll owe you one if you manage it. That didn't really go well. Okay, let's see if we can actually convince the mill guy, Trumbull, to, you know, just be slightly more nicer with the rations. Perhaps we can do that. Thank God for the fast mode.
Good day to you.
You're back. Have you had any luck with Swainer? I spoke to Swainer. And what did he say? He says you're treating the farmers unfairly, raising prices and giving them rotten grain. Actually, we just smelled the rotten grain, if you can remember that part, and it really was rotten. There was some green stuff in it, so that is actually a fair point. Trumbull snorts. Of course he does. He's been saying nothing else for days now. The man's delusional. If he wants grain, he'll have to pay for it. What's going on here, anyway? Trumbull shakes his head. Where to begin? Swainer's whipped them up into froth, going on about some grain stores, claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is I sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swainer and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town. The crop's blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers, Trumbull gestures to the sacks and containers, it's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Swainer's around hauling after things he has no right to. Actually, that seems to be fair. We've also seen that the crops are really corrupted out in the fields as well. But it seems we have an option to call him a liar. If you don't want those people in here with torches, maybe you ought to stop lying to me. Trumbull blinks, taken aback. I'm not. Look, it's not a lie. The stores really are low, and with so little grain going around, I had to raise the prices for some people. There are folks in this town that deserve far better than Swainer and his lot, people who have done more for Gilded Vale. What do you mean? Swainer, the rest, they've always been troublemakers, loud, drunken fools. That woman within her soul traces back to Dryhordon, the wretched brigand, and it shows. We have good people in this town, people still hanging on to what's left of it. They deserve a little more, that's all I'm saying. Actually, that doesn't really seem to be very fair. Swainer's people are farmers. They gathered that grain for you. They sure didn't mind losing the grain when it was going into the drinks at the inn. They don't make like kind neighbors when they insult my son, go stumbling through my own crops. You think they are the only ones that need to eat. Now the crops are sick, and the wind's too weak to get the windmill running. Our village children are born as empty shells. That's not my doing. This place is cursed, and Swainer and the others haven't done a thing to help the rest of us through the lean season. Now I actually do have a choice here. I could press the man even farther and saying that he is to blame, or I could be convinced by him again, so that I can say maybe I ought to go have a talk with Swainer then. Think this is the option with more work, but there is something more to this thing, so let's choose that one. The miller all but begs with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Yeah, he already did say that. Let's see. If we can click the inn, by the way, does it take us there? No, but it does this, and this is good. This is very good. And there they are.
How do you do?
Wigan, what do you want now? About this trouble with the miller. What?
Good day to you.
I've brought you drinks. Say, so you have, by the flame, I've never thought I'd be so happy for a mug of the Black Hound's shit beer. Gods, that's good. Alright, then you've got my attention. What is it you've got to say that's worth a round of drinks? Actually, I think we already said that before. Okay. Let's see. Maybe you could tell me more about what's going on. It's like I said, the miller's in charge for the grain prices. He says they are fair, but I know for a fact that folks like Orfra pay half what we do, the dwarf size. And maybe we've been a bit rough with him, but what are we supposed to do? We can't keep paying. We are going to starve, and do you think Trumbull is going to be sorry about it when we do? Okay, so it's actually true what Trumbull said, that he does give a discount to some people because he seems to think that they are more worthy. That is some racist shit, man. That is okay. Look, there is no sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against the wall. Maybe you could ask some of the other villagers for help. Sweyn eyes you for a few long moments, drinking deep from his mug, then he sighs. You're right. Things go on like they are. We are just going to end up hanging from that tree out there. He looks to his comrades. Tell Trumbull we'll leave him be. Don't know what we'll do now. With the crops failing, haven't got another trade to speak of. Think Paska needs a hand around the inn? I'm curious, did we just sentence these people to death? Perhaps we could have talked to the miller that he would even out his prices. That is actually quite interesting. But if we could convince Paska to get some work for these guys, I'd say we would be even. You know, it would be a win-win-win situation.
Well met, friend.
We can't actually talk with her about that. Okay, let's end the quest then. I really do hope that we made the right choice, but frankly I really do think that it does no good, you know, shouting and threatening the miller. He'll just go on the defensive side of things. Perhaps I still have a chance to convince him to even out the prices, you know.
How do you do?
You're back. Have you had any luck with Sweyn? He spoke to Sweyn. And what did he say? I've convinced him to leave your family in peace. What? That's great news. I wasn't sure you'd get through to him. They're out of their minds with drink half the time. I owe you a great debt. Here, he pulls a coin purse from his hip and pushes it towards you. Today's earnings to show my appreciation, and you can be sure I'll let everyone know what you've done for me. Moderate positive influence. Super cool. Keep it. You're having a hard enough time. You know, in real life, I think I'd also say this. I mean, come on. I just spoke to some people. No. Keep it. You're having a hard enough time. You're a generous soul, friend, and we'll have you to thank for making it through the coming year. Safe travels, and may you find favor with the gods. Moderate positive again. And that is our first side quest, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we can do about that temple. I do have fatigue on my main character, but for now let's try to make it without resting, and you know, guess we'll see it. We'll see how it goes. Alright, dear ladies and gentlemen, this would be the end of this episode. We've just completed everything we could do in town, and now comes, you know, the good part, the action part. We are going to explore some ruins about an old brotherhood. I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like what you see, please consider hitting that like button and also hitting that subscribe button if you want to see the future of the stream. But above all, I would really appreciate constructive criticism. Um, if you have some thoughts about my videos or about my stream, about anything, and you have some constructive thoughts, please leave a like, and I'd really appreciate it. Again, I'll see you in the next chapter of Pillars of Eternity. Goodbye, and thank you again.